My husband grinned in court. I opened my blazer and showed the mark on my chest. Then I dropped a fat file that made him go white. The room was cold. The judge stared down. The gavel hit once. Hard. Sharp. All rise. I stood. My hands were steady. My breath was slow. The wood bench pressed the back of my legs. On the other side, my husband sat with a neat suit and a neat smile. He leaned back like a king. A woman in a red dress sat behind him. Her heel tapped the shiny floor. Tap. 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 She watched me like I was a show. Case number 814, the clerk said. Good morning, the judge said. The room went quiet. My husband's lawyer stood first. Your Honor, he said, soft and smooth. My client carried this marriage. He paid. He planned. He gave her a life. Now she asks for more. We asked the court to deny alimony. She made no real work. She gave no value. A laugh ran along the back row. The red dress woman smiled. My husband did not look at me. He looked past me to the door, like he was bored. Miss Hale, the judge said. Do you have a statement? I rose. Yes, Your Honor. My voice did not shake. Proceed. I set one hand on the table. I unbuttoned my black blazer. Slow. 1, 2, 3. I opened it wide. Under the blazer was a plain white tee. Over my heart, ink showed through the thin cloth. A small mare. Head up. Mouth open. Chains snapped under the hooves. Eyes moved. Even the judge's eyes moved. A whisper ran like wind. The red dress heel stopped tapping. I did not speak about the ink. I did not speak about pain. I spoke with things you can touch. I set a thick manila folder on the table. It hit with a hard thud. The sound spread. Papers inside were heavy. Your Honor, I said, I submit records. Bank wires. Fake business spend. Hidden cards. Names. Dates. Sums. Signatures. My husband's mouth pulled tight. His lawyer blinked fast. The red dress woman looked at him now, not me. Show the first page, the judge said. I slid the first page to the clerk. The judge looked down. He did not move for a long beat. He turned one page. Then another. He looked back up. Your client will respond, the judge told my husband's lawyer. But Miss Hale may continue. I nodded once. My husband called me lazy, I said. At home I cooked, cleaned, and ran the books for his shop. He told friends I sat and scrolled. He told me to be quiet and sign. I did not sign. He forged. Here are the copies. Gasps. One cough. A chair squeaked. The red dress woman looked at her lap. My husband's jaw jumped. His lawyer raised a hand. Objection to character claims. Overruled for now, the judge said. We'll get to the numbers. I held up a small clear bag. Inside was a silver USB drive. Recorded calls, I said. One-party consent is legal in our state. The calls were made in our home. He and Ms. Reed, I tipped my chin to the red dress. Planned cash moves. You will hear dates and bank names. You will hear the words, bleed her slow. The room made a noise. It was not one sound. It was many small sounds. Breaths. Whispers. The scrape of a ring on wood. The judge looked at the bailiff. Collect the drive, he said. The bailiff took it from my hand. I did not look at my husband. I looked at the judge. I stood still. The mare on my chest sat still too. Recess is denied, the judge said. We proceed. My husband's lawyer tried to fix the smile on his face. It did not fit. He tugged his cuff. Your Honor, these papers could be fake. They are not, I said. My voice stayed soft. I slid a page to the clerk. The page showed a wire of 10,000. The memo line said, client dinner. The date matched a night I ate soup alone. The card came from the shop. The sign line had one name. His. The judge turned pages fast now. He placed a finger on a date. Mr. Hale, he said, why did you list a weekend at Sea Blue Resort as vendor summit? My husband shrugged. Business is business. Who was the vendor? The judge asked. Silence. Mr. Hale. He looked at the red dress woman. She looked at the floor. Her heel did not tap. The judge leaned back. We will pause alimony requests, he said. We will order an audit. All joint assets are frozen until review. The word frozen hit the air like ice water. The red dress woman flinched. My husband's head snapped up. Your Honor. Sit down, the judge said. I did not smile. I did not speak. I let the wood table hold my hand. I let the room be cold. This fight did not start in court. It started in a kitchen with a glass on the counter and a phone that lit up. Blue light. Name on top, R. I did not peek. The phone kept lighting up. It buzzed and slid slow on the stone. A long thread showed on the screen. A picture of a beach. A picture of a red heel on a chair. Soon, the last text said. Bleed her slow. I did not cry. I wiped the counter. I cooked rice. I took a breath. I plugged in a small box. The box was a recorder with one red light. It lived in the lamp by the sofa. I asked a friend at the clinic if one-party consent was fine. She showed me the law page. It was fine. So the light hid in the lamp. It watched the room. It kept the words. Days passed. I worked at the shop like always. I set the orders. I sent the checks. I watched the ledgers. Sums did not match. Sums went down like bathwater. I walked to a small office on Main Street. A woman sat there with gray hair and sharp eyes. Her hands were clean. Her desk was clean. Forensic accounting, the sign said. She looked up when I came in. I help people see numbers that hide, she said. I put cash on the desk. I put bank codes on the desk. She did not smile. She nodded. Come back in 1 week, she said. 1 week turned into 2. Then she called me to come. She had a neat stack of paper. Lines. Dates. Arrows. She put a yellow tab here. A pink tab there. This line goes to a new card, she said. It pays for a beach trip. This one goes to a downtown flat. The lease lists a woman named Reed. This one goes to gifts. Bags. Shoes. The sign line. She tapped. His name only. I stood by her desk. I did not sit. The room hummed with a small fan. I watched the yellow tabs. They looked like flags. Small flags on a map of a war. Do you want me to testify? The gray-haired woman asked. I nodded once. She nodded back. Nights came. The recorder blinked red. My husband came home late and loud. Bottles knocked. A laugh I had never heard filled our room. Her laugh. Soon, she said. We move the big one. A kiss noise. A throat clear. The judge will say she is lazy, she said. We will win. He said. We bleed her slow. The lamp did not blink. It kept the words. I saved the files. I printed the wires. I made a list of dates. I got a small tattoo. Of a mare over my heart. I sat in the chair and gripped the sides. The needle buzzed. Lines grew. The artist wiped the red away. When she was done, she pressed a cool cloth. Why a horse, she asked. I did not tell her my husband called me a mule in front of his friends. I did not tell her a mule can pull a town. I just looked at the ink. It looked back at me. We were fine. Court will come to order, the judge said. Back in the cold room, time moved like clips. Short. Sharp. Clean. My husband's lawyer pushed a page at the judge. Your Honor, my client will show that Ms. Hale had access to all funds. Access is not theft, the judge said. He turned to me. Do you have emails that link the bogus spend to your husband or Ms. Reed? Yes, I said. I took a thin stack. I did not wave it. I gave it to the clerk. Top page showed a note from my husband to the shop bookkeeper. Push the sea blue bill to vendor budget, he wrote. Mark a summit. The bookkeeper replied with a sad little face. He replied with a thumbs up. Next page, I said. A note from Ms. Reed to my husband. Send the consulting fee to my personal account, she wrote. Same as last time. The judge looked at her. She pressed her lips tight. Her eyes glowed wet. Her heels started to tap again. Fast now. Tap. 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 My husband adjusted his tie. He looked at the door again. Mr. Hale, the judge said, and Ms. Reed, the audit will be full. If the drive confirms these talks, we will extend this case to criminal review. Do you understand? My husband said nothing. Ms. Reed nodded, tiny and stiff. Good, the judge said. We'll take a 15-minute recess. Do not speak with each other in this room. The gavel hit. People stood. A hush ran through like wind in dry grass. I sat back down. I folded my blazer closed. My fingers pressed the buttons, one by one. Across the aisle, Ms. Reed leaned close to my husband. Her whisper came out a hiss. You said the wires were clean. He stared at the floor. She grabbed his sleeve. He jerked free. A guard looked over. She let go. Her chest rose and fell fast. She wiped the corner of her eye. Her red nail shook. I stood and walked to the hall. The tile was bright. A water cooler hummed. I pressed the small white lever. The cup filled. I took one sip. The door opened. A woman I knew stepped out. Gray hair. Sharp eyes. She put a hand on my arm, warm and light. She did not say, you got this. She did not say, be strong. She said, numbers speak. Her mouth curved just a little. She went back inside. I walked to a window. Outside, the sky was pale blue. A bus hissed. Kids crossed a street with bright packs on their backs. One girl held a plastic horse in her hand. It bounced as she walked. I watched until the guard called us back in. Resume, the judge said. The bailiff set a small speaker by the bench. He plugged in the silver drive. He pressed a button. The room filled with the sound of my living room. Soft. A glass set down. A chair leg dragged. Then a voice. His. Close. Low. We push the big one next week, he said. Her voice came next. Light. Quick. If she asks, say vendor stuff, she said. He laughed. Vendor stuff, he said. Bleed her slow. Someone in the back said, wow, and then stopped. Another clip played. Timestamp. Date. The page on the screen matched the date on a wire. It's done, he said. Send my fee, she said. You're cute when you steal. Chairs creaked. A pen dropped. A throat cleared with a dry cough. The judge held up his hand. Stop there, he said. Silence pressed on the room like heavy snow. Counsel, the judge said to my husband's lawyer. The man in the neat suit looked lost. He stared at his notes like they might grow new words. They were jokes, he said. No, the judge said. He looked down again at the papers. He marked the edge with his thumb. He placed them in a neat stack. We will schedule a full evidentiary hearing. Until then, bank holds remain. Miss Hale, you will have temporary control of the shop's books under a third-party monitor. Mr. Hale, you are barred from moving funds. Ms. Reed, you are a named party in the audit. A murmur broke like surf. It moved from the back to the front. People leaned to each other. Heads tipped. Eyes hid. Hands covered mouths. The red dress woman stared straight ahead. Her makeup did not move. Her heel began to tap again, slow now. Tap a tap. My husband whispered to his lawyer. The lawyer whispered back. They looked small with their heads close. Their shoulders touched. The judge banged the gavel. Recess, he said. 15. In the hall, the air felt warm. I stood by the wall and breathed once. No deep breath. Just air. In. Out. A man in a blue suit walked by. He stared at me like he knew me. He did not. He looked away. Then Ms. Reed came out. She walked fast. Then she stopped when she saw me. Her face had a hard line now. She stood 2 steps away. She held her phone like a blade. You set me up, she said. Her voice tried to swing, but it wobbled. You broke us. I did not answer. She took 1 step closer. Say it, she said. Say you want me to starve. I looked at her hand on the phone. Her fingers were tight and white. The red polish was perfect. No chips. No cracks. She laughed once. Short. Sharp. He will leave you with nothing, she said. He always wins. The door opened behind her. My husband came out. He reached for her arm, low and fast. Don't talk to her, he said. She yanked away. Don't touch me, she said. Her voice shot up on the last word and cracked. He looked over her head at me. His eyes were small. 2 chips of gray stone. He worked his jaw. He did not speak. A guard stood between us. Back in, the guard said. We went back in. The rest moved fast. Dates were set. Orders were signed. The gavel hit again and again. When it ended for the day, I walked out with my bag. A woman stopped me near the doors. She held a baby on her hip. You did good, she said. I saw it. I saw all of it. I nodded once. She squeezed my arm with her free hand. Her baby reached for my hair. His tiny fingers curled and then let go. She smiled and moved away. I went home. The house was quiet. The lamp sat in the corner. The red light was off now. I unplugged the cord. I wound it tight. I set it in the drawer. I turned to the sink. I scrubbed a cup. Water ran. Soap foamed. Bubbles popped. My phone buzzed on the counter. Unknown number. I let it buzz. It stopped. Then it buzzed again. A text popped up. Please, the text said. Can we talk? I pressed delete. I pressed clear. The screen went blank. I set the phone face down. I opened the window. Cool air slid in. Curtains moved like slow waves. A siren moaned far off and then cut. I went to bed. The ink on my chest warmed under my palm. I slept. The audit began. Men in plain suits came and went. They asked for codes. They asked for keys. They took boxes. They took drives. They took a folder of old tax forms from a high shelf that no one had touched in years. They did not smile. They did not frown. They just worked. At the shop, the third-party monitor sat where my husband once sat. She had a short braid in a quiet way. Her pen moved across a pad. She nodded when I brought her stacks. They ran you ragged, she said. Not now, I said. I handed her a list of vendors. She checked each name with a little tick. Customers came in. They paid for real things. We boxed them up. We sent them out. A small bell rang when the door opened. It rang a lot. 2 weeks later, news from town ran on the small TV over the coffee shop counter. Local shop under audit, the bar scrawl said. No names shown. But people know. People always know. Ms. Reed did not come to the shop. She did not call. But I saw her once near the bank. She walked fast, head down, hair in a tight knot. A man in a dark tie stood a few steps behind her. He talked and walked. She shook her head. They kept moving. My husband drove by the house one night. His truck lights slid across my wall. Then they slid away. I stood at the window with the lamp off. He slowed at the end of the street. He did not stop. He turned the corner and was gone. Next day, the gray-hair accountant came by the shop. She set a thin stack on the counter. Findings, she said. Clear as glass. The top page showed a block of sums. Here was the sea blue trip. Here was the downtown flat, lease in Ms. Reed's name. Here were 3 consulting fees to her personal account. Here was a chain of cash pulls on days I worked late and ate soup. Will you testify? I asked. She raised one brow. I live for it, she said. I smiled with my mouth closed. It was small. It was enough. The next hearing felt different. The cold room felt less cold. Or maybe my skin felt thick. Or maybe I wore a better sweater. Who knows? The gavel hit once. We stood. The judge read off dates and sums. The speaker played one more clip. It was short. Her voice, send the fee. His voice, done. Then a kiss sound. The judge raised his hand. That's sufficient, he said. He turned to me. Ms. Hill, you will receive temporary support. You will manage the shop with oversight until final order. Based on current evidence, alimony denial is not likely. Restitution is on the table. He turned to my husband. Mr. Hale, if criminal charges proceed, this court will coordinate. Do not contact Ms. Hale. Do not approach her home. Do not approach her work. He turned to Ms. Reed. Ms. Reed, you are now subject to subpoena. Counsel advised. Her lipstick had faded. Her heel did not tap. She sat still. Stiff. Small. The gavel fell. We stood. We walked out. In the hall, My husband's lawyer tried to square his shoulders. It looked like a coat that did not fit. He spoke to Ms. Reed in a small voice. She lowered her face and shook her head once. He stopped talking. Outside sun hit my face. Warm. Clean. Bright. I stood on the top step for a long breath. A boy ran past with a kite. The kite tail snapped in the light wind. He yelled, "Look," to no one and everyone. It went up. Days rolled on. Work filled the hours. A slow fix, piece by piece. I made eggs in the morning. I brewed coffee. I fed the stray cat who sat on the fence. She ate like she had a job to do. She left. She came back. We were friends. At night, I walked the block. Street lamps hummed. Leaves scraped across the road. Neighbors waved with small hands. I waved back. 1 week later, a knock came on my door. Not fast. Not loud. 3 knocks. Then quiet. I opened the door. Ms. Reed stood there. No red dress. Jeans. A plain gray hoodie. Face washed. Eyes dark. She held a phone with both hands like a cup. "Please," she said. Her voice was sand. "I need to say a thing." I stood in the door. The hall light made a small pool on the step. The cat watched from the fence. She swallowed. "I lost my job," she said. "I lost my lease. I moved back in with my mother. She calls you that poor girl. I said you are not poor. I said you are a wall." She said that is the same thing. Her mouth tried to smile, but it broke. "I came to say sorry," she said. "It is late. It is cheap. But it is what I have. I am sorry." I looked at her hands. They had no rings now. Her nails were bare. Short. Clean. She lifted her phone like she might hand it to me. "I can send you the rest," she said. Chats. Memos. His lists. He kept lists. I held the door frame. Wood under palm. Solid. Warm. Old. "Send them to the investigator," I said. Her head moved once, a tiny nod. She stepped back. "I deserve this," she said. Maybe it was true. Maybe it was not. The wind moved a strand of hair across her cheek. She tucked it behind her ear. She walked down the steps. She did not look back. The cat jumped down and followed her to the gate. It sat and watched her go. Then it turned and came back to me. I closed the door. The last hearing came on a bright day. The sky was big and blue. The judge wore the same face. He read in a flat voice. Findings, fraud confirmed. Funds misused for personal travel, residence, and gifts. Restitution awarded to Ms. Hale. Temporary support made permanent for 3 years. Shop remains under Ms. Hale, with full control restored once audit completes. Criminal referrals made. He looked up. "Do not speak out," he said. No one spoke. He raised the gavel. He set it down. Court adjourned. I packed my folder. I slid the drive into a little pocket. I buttoned my blazer. I stood. My husband looked at me then. Not past me. Not through me. At me. His mouth pressed into a thin line. He opened it like he would say a thing. He closed it. He looked away. On the steps, a breeze tugged my hair. It moved the edge of my blazer. The ink over my heart warmed in the sun. A woman from the first day, the baby mom, appeared again. No baby this time. She carried a small box of cupcakes. "Take one," she said. "I bake when I'm mad." I took one. Pink icing. A tiny sugar horse on top. We both laughed, soft and short. "Thank you," I said. She nodded. "See you around," she said. She went down the steps and into the day. I ate the cupcake on the walk home. Sugar stuck to my lip. I licked it off. A bike bell rang. A dog barked twice. A bus sighed and knelt. At home, I set the folder on the shelf. I fed the cat. I wiped the counter. Water ran. Soap foamed. Bubbles popped. My phone buzzed once on the table. A number I knew. His. I watched the screen light and go dark. Then light. Then dark. It stopped. I put the phone in a drawer. I closed the drawer. I opened the window. Air slid in and touched the curtains. They breathed. I sat on the floor with my back to the couch. The room was quiet. Not empty. Just quiet. I looked at the lamp. The small red light was gone. The cord was gone. Only the lamp stayed. Just a lamp now. I lay down and looked at the ceiling. Tiny dots in the paint. A hairline crack that ran like a thin road. I pressed my hand to my chest. The mare sat under my palm. Hooves up. Chains gone. The night came slow. Lights from cars slid along the wall and left again. The house breathed. I breathed with it. Weeks later, I packed 2 boxes from the back room of the shop. Old forms. Dead pens. A mug with a chip. I found a photo in a drawer. Me at 23. Hair to my waist. Eyes bright. Grease on my cheek. A wrench in my hand. The shop sign new and clean behind me. I set the photo on the counter. I stood and looked. A man came in with a list. He cleared his throat. "Is this the right place for pickup?" he asked. "Yes," I said. "Name." "Rivera," he said. I checked the list. 2 large, 1 small, I said. He nodded. I slid the boxes to him. He lifted them with a grunt. "Thanks," he said. He turned, then paused. "By the way," he said, "I heard, people talk." I raised my chin a little. He nodded like he got my meaning. "Anyway," he said, "you run a good shop." He went out. The bell rang. The door closed. The sound stayed a second in the air. Then it was gone. I took the photo and taped it to the wall above the desk. The girl in the photo looked at me. I looked back. We both held a tool. Hers a wrench. Mine a pen. The doorbell rang again. New work. New day. The monitor packed her things. Final sign-off, she said. She handed me a form. I signed. She smiled this time. Good job, she said. She walked out. The bell rang one last time for her. I stood alone behind the counter. I placed both hands flat on the wood. The grain ran under my palms. Warm. Solid. Outside, a small girl passed with a plastic horse in her hand. She pressed the horse to the glass and waved it at me. I waved back. She grinned and ran to catch up with her dad. I locked the register. I flipped the sign to closed. I stood in the quiet and counted to 10. Not for magic. Not for calm. Just to hear the numbers in a room that did not lie. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I turned out the lights and went home. That night, a storm came. Rain hit the roof hard. Wind pushed at the windows. The tree in the yard swayed and then bowed. I set a pot under a small leak in the kitchen. The drop hit with a tick. 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 Like a slow clock. The power blinked once. Then it went dark. The house breathed with the storm. I lit a candle. The flame danced. The wax ran. Someone knocked on the door. 3 soft taps. I held the candle and walked down the hall. I opened the door. He stood there with wet hair and a wet face. No suit now. Just a jacket and jeans. He looked like a boy who lost his way. He opened his mouth. Rain blew in and dotted my floor. Can we talk? He said. Behind him, the storm made the night loud. The candle flame bent in the wind. I held the door with one hand. I held the candle with the other. I took a small step back. Not to let him in. To anchor my feet. He looked at the ground. He looked at my face. He tried to smile. It broke. I messed up, he said. I said nothing. I can fix it, he said. No. He looked over my shoulder into my small bright house. He saw the lamp. He saw the clean counter. He saw the little mirror, just a shadow through my shirt. His jaw moved. He lifted a hand like he might touch the door. He let it fall. Please, he said. I set the candle on the hall table. I took $1 from my pocket. I set it on the step. I closed the door. The rain hit harder. The dollar stuck to the wet stone. It fluttered and lay flat. I picked up the candle. I walked back to the kitchen. The pot ticked with slow drops. The flame swayed and made the room warm. I stood by the window and watched the storm. Lightning showed the yard like noon. Then it was night again. I pressed my hand to my chest. The mare sat under my palm. Hooves up. Chains gone. I blew out the candle. Smoke curled. The dark settled soft as a blanket. In the dark, the house breathed. So did I.